A traditional business has a physical reality. It needs space, equipment, inventory, employees, transportation, and often a local customer base. Digital businesses operate differently. Their products can be copied, distributed, updated, and delivered through software and networks. Their customers can exist almost anywhere. Their operations can be automated. Their infrastructure can scale without reproducing the entire physical business. But this does not mean digital businesses have escaped economics. They have simply created a different economic architecture.
One of the most important changes introduced by digital business is the economics of replication. A physical product usually has to be manufactured again when another customer wants one. A digital product can often be distributed repeatedly from the same underlying system. Software can serve another user without manufacturing another physical copy. A digital document can be delivered again. A digital workflow can be activated again. The cost does not necessarily become zero. Servers still consume resources. Support still requires people. Infrastructure still has to operate. But the economics can become dramatically different when the cost of serving an additional customer grows much more slowly than the customer base.
A digital business can also separate growth from physical expansion. One software company can serve customers across many countries without building a store in every market. One digital product can reach thousands of users without thousands of physical shelves. One online platform can coordinate transactions between people who may never meet. This changes the relationship between scale and infrastructure. In physical businesses, growth often requires reproducing physical capacity. In digital businesses, growth can sometimes be absorbed by software and infrastructure. The constraint moves, it does not disappear. But scale creates its own problems. More customers create more support requests. More transactions create more payment activity. More users create more data. More traffic creates more infrastructure demand. More employees create more operational complexity. The physical bottleneck may disappear, but digital bottlenecks emerge in its place. This is why digital economics cannot be reduced to one idea: low marginal cost. The real question is what happens to the entire cost structure as the business grows. A digital product may be inexpensive to reproduce, but customers still have to discover it. That creates another economic layer. Distribution has a cost. Advertising costs money. Content requires time. Sales require effort. Partnerships require coordination. Search visibility requires competition. The product may scale digitally, but customer acquisition does not automatically become free. This creates a crucial distinction. The economics of producing a digital product can be attractive, while the economics of acquiring customers remain difficult. The strongest digital businesses understand both sides of that equation.
Once a customer enters the system, another economic variable becomes important: retention. If a business continually has to replace customers, acquisition costs can consume much of the value created by the product. But when customers remain for longer periods, the economics can change. The original acquisition effort can support a longer relationship. A subscription can continue. Additional services can become relevant. The customer's familiarity with the system can increase. Retention does not guarantee profitability, but it can fundamentally change how the economics of a digital business work.
This is why recurring business models receive so much attention. A one-time transaction ends. A recurring relationship continues as long as the customer continues receiving enough value to justify staying. That creates a different planning environment. businesses can think about retention, customer lifetime, infrastructure utilization, and operational capacity over a longer horizon. But recurring revenue is not a magic formula. Customers can cancel, costs can rise, competition can increase. The architecture only works when the ongoing value of the product remains greater than the friction of continuing to use it. There is a common misconception that digital businesses automatically produce high margins. They do not. A digital company can spend heavily on infrastructure. It can spend heavily on marketing. It can require expensive technical talent. Customer support can become significant. Payment processing takes a share of transactions. Compliance and security create additional costs. The advantage of digital economics is not guaranteed profitability, it is flexibility. A well-designed digital business can potentially separate revenue growth from some of the physical costs associated with traditional expansion, but the architecture still has to work. Software creates another form of leverage. One system can execute the same process repeatedly. It can calculate, route, notify, organize, analyze, authenticate, record, and communicate. Automation allows businesses to move certain activities from manual execution into systems. The economic advantage comes from reducing repetitive effort and increasing consistency. But automation itself requires architecture. Someone has to design the process, maintain the system, monitor its output, and decide where human judgment remains necessary. Digital leverage comes from combining software with sound operational design. A superior product does not automatically win. Digital markets often have another bottleneck: distribution. Customers need to find the product. They need a reason to trust it. They need a reason to stay. Distribution can come from search, content, partnerships, communities, referrals, integrations, existing platforms, and brand reputation. Over time, distribution can become an economic asset of its own. The business that can acquire customers efficiently may outperform a technically superior competitor that cannot reach the market. When the economics align, a digital business can create a flywheel. Customers create usage. Usage generates information. Information can improve the product. A better product can improve retention. Stronger retention can improve economics. Better economics can support distribution. Distribution brings more customers into the system. The cycle can reinforce itself. But this is not automatic growth. A flywheel only works when each part actually strengthens the next. If acquisition becomes too expensive, the cycle breaks. If retention falls, the cycle weakens. If costs rise faster than revenue, scale can amplify the problem instead of solving it. This creates a better way to think about online business opportunity. Do not begin with the question, what can I sell online? Begin with the economics. Where is a business spending too much? Where is valuable work still manual? Where is customer acquisition inefficient? Where are customers leaving? Where is software fragmented? Where is data trapped? Where does a recurring problem create recurring demand? The opportunity often appears inside the gap between what a problem costs and what a better system could be worth. The most important lesson is simple. Do not start with the interface. Start with the economic architecture. Who has the problem? How expensive is the problem? How will customers discover the solution? What makes them stay? What does it cost to serve them? What becomes automated? What becomes more valuable with scale? What prevents competitors from easily replacing the system? Only after these questions are understood should the product become the center of attention. Because a digital product is not the business. The economic system around the product is the business. The internet did not simply create new products. It changed the economics surrounding those products. Distribution became global. Software became repeatable. Automation became programmable. Infrastructure became accessible through services. Recurring relationships became easier to build. Data became part of the operating system. But none of these advantages exist in isolation. They work together as architecture. The visible product is only the surface. Underneath it are acquisition, retention, distribution, infrastructure, pricing, automation, and trust. And when those systems align, the business becomes more than a product. It becomes an economic machine. The opportunity in online business is not simply that the internet allows you to sell something. The deeper opportunity is that digital systems can change the economics of how value is created, delivered, repeated, and scaled. But the advantage belongs to those who understand the entire architecture, not just the product, not just the technology, not just the market, the economics connecting them all. Because when you understand the machine, you stop chasing individual opportunities. You start seeing where new opportunities are created.